What's the deal on blind audio testing? Well, this question comes from Larry in Canada. And Larry writes, "Hi, Paul. I love your videos and have been a fan of PS Audio for many years and owned many of your products." Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Larry. Many years ago, a magazine called High Fidelity, blind tested a cheap receiver against some pretty high-end products of the day and concluded that listeners could not reliably tell a difference. So, to my knowledge, since the shitstorm that caused, I'm unaware of any magazines, reviewers, or manufacturers that have published any blind tests to refute it. I'm aware of the many disclaimers about blind testing in audio, but let's face it, it is really the only true measure. Boy, you know what? That's my wife. I wish she would stop doing that. I gotta, how do I turn this thing off? Let's see here. Let's see. Dismiss. Sorry. Well, I don't know. I can never figure these things out. You'd think they'd have some way to do it. All right, probably is. Where were we? Oh, yeah. It's really the only true measure. The worst case scenario for you, if you did that, conducted blind tests, would be that your products sound like crap, which I know is extremely unlikely, yes, or your products rival the megabuck products, so you save $50,000 and buy PS. Are you up to the challenge? Thanks, Larry. Am I up to the challenge? Well, let's define blind testing, because we do blind testing all the time. This system here is, and the big speakers and all that, we pretty much do blind testing as a matter of course. And so let me explain to you what I think blind testing means, and then what I think you mean. Blind testing is where the listener, the evaluator, does not know which piece of gear they're listening to. It could be gear A, it could be gear B. Now, I usually have an assistant. A lot of times it's Darren or somebody else will be the assistant. And I don't want to know which product we're listening to, because I have to battle through the preconceptions, because I think it's going to sound this way. It's just so much easier when we listen to the system, get adjusted to the system, which doesn't take long. I've been listening to this system for so long. And then we go into it and we start listening to various things under test. I don't want to know what they are. And we call them A and we call them B. And we go through A, give me A again, give me B, yep, let's go back to A. Try this track on B and try this one on A. You know what? At the end of the day, I like this, this, and this about A, and I don't like this, this, and this about B, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and by the way, which is what? And, oh, well, A is the old one. And whatever it is, we don't know, we don't want to know, it just gets in the way and you have to battle through it. What they did was not a blind test. What they did is called a double-blind test. Double-blind tests are very different. Double-blind tests are where, if I were sitting here, I would have three choices: A, B, or X. Now, I wouldn't even be given, usually you're not even given a choice between those. You just, here's one, here's the other, and here's the third. Now the third could be a random. It could be A or it could be you don't know. And the tests are done quickly. So usually it's with a switcher. So you go click, 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 click. I've participated in those tests. Forget X. I've participated in those tests where you're clicking back and forth. It's almost impossible to hear differences. Absolutely agree. But there's a reason for that. We're not machines. We are emotional creatures, and our brains as much as we like to think they're just all wonderful and encompassing, our little pea brains need time to adjust. Absolutely need time to adjust. So when we're doing listening tests, it needs to be at a pace that works for the listener. Now, I'm a fairly fast listener. I listen for maybe a minute, half a minute, but usually around a minute. And then I got it. I got a picture of what this sounds like. Give me the next one. And we play the same track at exactly the same volume, and the picture changes. But A, I have time as the equipment is changed, and not too long to where I can just safely maintain that image in my head, and then the ability to go back and forth at will. All that is critical to our little pea brains that are trying to make these evaluations. I mean, imagine having, trying to decide which maple syrup is better, right? If you just, I don't know where that came from, but just picture maple syrup. They all taste a little, or honey. Honeys taste very different. Depends on the bees and the clovers and all that stuff, right? So if I take a spoon and I kind of get used to, like I have it every morning, or I'm kind of used to this honey. Now another jar comes out, it's not labeled, and I'm going to try this honey. If I take my time and I do it, jar A and jar B, I can pretty easily tell a difference. They're at it again. If I just go boom, 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 it just throws it all off. I can't assimilate changes that quickly. Maybe some people can, I can't. So that's what I got to say about that. Yes, we do blind testing all the time. A/B blind testing where it's double blind. Now, it doesn't work. It can't work. And it doesn't. So don't be surprised when something that shouldn't work doesn't. All right, I better go see what the heck these people want. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.